Speaking of things that nobody wanted, they're going to make the Obi-Wan series filled with wokey Wahmens. Hello everyone, I am still Mecha Random 42, still the one, still the only, still the original, still your favorite YouTube consumer advocate, Harpy. We've been talking for the last hour about a stand mixer instead of Star Wars. I know, the things that people actually subscribe to me for. I apologize. Do you guys want to see me make cookies and do baking stuff? Should I just do that on my other channel just to have like something to put out content-wise on the other channel? Because I do have the live channel, and I have Patreon and Twitch and Twitter and Parler and all the things.
Please like the video if you liked it. If you didn't like it, keep your comments to yourself.
No one asked you, Brie! Like, she wants our attention so bad, and she's just so desperate for attention that she's gotta come into our streams and our videos, and why am I snapping all of a sudden? Who knows? I guess we're talking about the Obi-Wan series. And yes, it's going to be filled with a bunch of garbage, woke, wham stuff. Possibly. I mean, it could just be natural and character progression and completely reasonable within the story as well. Who knows? What are we talking about? Delayed snapping. Delayed magic. Our magic is delayed today. Report: Obi-Wan circles the Aladdin star for a female co-lead. Naomi Scott, who played Princess Jasmine in the Aladdin remake. She was also in she was one of the chicks in the Charlie's Angels reboot. I say chicks. You can go ahead and cancel me now for saying chicks because I treat females like Beavis and Butthead treat females.
Damn, we're smooth.
Sometimes you want to look at something nice and appealing and attractive, and you know what? Maybe they're going to be some more eye candy. I'm like not super on board with an Obi-Wan series anyway. We already know that Kathleen Kennedy came in, you know, the head of Lucasfilm, the head Lady Wahmen person at Lucasfilm, came in and said, hey, we have all these script problems, and this is going to be too similar to The Mandalorian, you know, the one with the Baby Yoda, so maybe we should go and make it more about women. Or whatever she did. This has probably got the stink of Kathleen Kennedy all over it, especially when you're looking for so many leads. Well, CBR is just focusing more on who this one is. They quote the actual source, which we're going to go with from, Illuminati. Is that like Mecha Illuminati? Because the Mecha Illuminati stuff might be pretty, funny, weird reason. I don't know what I'm going with that one either. That joke fell right on the floor, and it took a giant, wet, stinky glowing amber right all over the screen, and there's an Obi-Wan series, and it's gonna have casting for 3 mysterious Lady Wahmen female roles. All 3 of them are gonna be Lady Wahmen females, and they're all going to be diverse because reasons and checkboxes. And diversity. I already talked a little bit about this the other day, about how representation on screen isn't there to actually represent people that actually exist. It is there to tell people how they're supposed to look, act, and think. Based on, see, this is you on screen, and you need to think and act and be just like this person. Because representation is more about marketing than it is about actually showing the people themselves on screen. Because let's face it, nobody has ever had actual full representation on screen. They'll have somebody that kind of looks like them or kind of thinks like them or kind of acts like them, but you're never going to have you. You will never be represented on screen ever, no matter who you are. And they can say and focus on, oh, well, we've only had white men and we don't have any female representation on screen. Right? And the female representation we have on screen still doesn't look like any of us. So, do you really think it's more about marketing and trend jumping, or is it really about trying to give the viewer what they actually want? I think it's about marketing and trend jumping and not actually about giving the viewer what they want, but about conditioning the consumer into being the good little cookie cutter, carbon copy, cardboard cutout of the other one, just so you can, feel yourself represented on screen. You know, like these ladies here, like these ones. They all look the same, and I know they're all dressed up as Rey, but this is what they really want. They want their consumer base to be as predictable as the next one. They want their consumer base to not question, just to say, oh, we can produce this product and everybody who is a fan will like this. And if they don't, they want to condition you and shoehorn you into this perfect little marketing category. Why? Because then they can say you're an istinophobe, and then they can throw you into this other category politically or whatever, just so they can sell you advertising. That is what all of this is about. This is no more. They don't care about producing a TV series. They don't care about producing a commodity for you guys to buy. They care about how it's marketed, right? They don't care about the creative process. They don't care about what they're saying on screen. They don't care about the stories. They don't care about the characters. They care about it as a commodity. Did I say it wasn't a commodity? No, they care about it as a commodity. They care about it as a marketable thing that they can sell you. And the more specific of a person they can sell something to, the better of a consumer you're going to be. That is what all of this is for. I can snap better than them, usually. There we go. I was going to say, get these clones off my screen. What are we talking about? We're talking about this one. Boom. Now I need to see you guys. How are you guys doing in chat? Drones all lined up in a row, fresh from the woke assimilation chamber. And I get it. They're all dressed up as Rey, and they're supposed to be doing that costume, that scene where there's a whole bunch of them in the Hall of Mirrors. Right? But when we have the same thing in Doctor Who, though, where they all just want a good little consumer, they want a good little fan base to be all the same so they can just sell them all. Because that's what they want. They want everybody to say the same thing. This is why you see so many marketing accounts on social media that all recite back the same thing. If you complain about something, what's their immediate go-to response? Oh, you're an ist, you're a phobe. You just don't like it because of this thing. Because they're told that you don't like it because it's got Wahmen in it. Which might not be the case. We don't like it because they're more focused on narrowing people down into their little marketing groups and their little research groups, market research categories. Then they care about putting a funny, entertaining, interesting, engaging, uplifting, inspiring story on screen. They really, really don't anymore. They don't want to have people break out and be individuals. They want a good little mindless consumer base of good little sheep to do everything that they're told.
What do you want? When do you want it?
And that's what they want. They want their little consumer base to just recite back the same thing. Because if you get enough people to say, oh no, I don't want to be labeled that, I won't be labeled an isterophobe, how many of these people just say that they like it? Or they just move on to the next thing, right? They don't sit there and complain and say, no, you're going to fix these stories by doing this, this, and this. They're not really enriching the whole universe that much at this point. They're kind of just leaving these properties there to remind you, just so you show up to Disneyland, so you buy a Star Wars t-shirt because, hey, I still like Star Wars, or you buy an action figure, or you buy a Baby Yoda, just to remind you that it still exists. And that's a terrible way to view entertainment, as this marketable commodity that is no more than a thing that you're supposed to use to advertise other things. And that's where these movies have really been, and the TV shows even. The TV shows even. Where is it? I gotta find this. I keep seeing this popping into my Twitter feed. Here you go. Here you go. Speaking of The Mandalorian, Williams of Sonoma, $49.99 for these Baby Yoda cookies. Apparently he was eating cookies in the scene. Apparently little Baby Yoda was eating cookies in this Mandalorian scene here. And also, hey Matt Vader, I got to meet him in person in Vegas. Really? Just because Baby Yoda was eating him, now you're charging $50 for macaroon. Granted, they're hard to make because they're made out of like the meringue part, and you gotta kind of pipe them in just right, and you gotta have like they're not easy to make because it's just little baked meringues. But $50 just to what? Be reminded that Baby Yoda exists? Just to be reminded that Star Wars exists? And of course, the meat of the article is that they are looking for 3 supporting roles, and they're all women. Female. Oh, this one's a male. 3 of them are female. Riley, aka Eve, a female 20 to 25-year-old lead. And it looks like these are the people that they're looking for to play these characters. They think that people are going to see this and say, hey, look, I'm on screen. I'm going to buy this. And Sometimes they do, and sometimes there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with representation. But when you're using it as a marketable commodity, just to pander, and this is a Star Wars universe, so you can have all kinds of aliens, you can have all kinds of different creatures. It doesn't matter what a lot of people look like under the makeup, especially in science fiction, in franchise, and in genre entertainment. And you can bring in a higher percentage of diversity than are, on the population of the country that you're filming in. You can absolutely do that. And that's great to bring more voices to the table, to bring more people into the fold. Nobody says we shouldn't be doing that. It is when you're just using people as token, representation. When you're using people as a marketing tool, that is when I come in and say, really, can you be a little bit better than this? Because if we had any reason to think that these franchises and properties, especially now after going 40 some odd years on Star Wars, if I had any reason to believe that they actually care about the properties and telling stories, other than how can we market this to people? How can we get clicks? How can we get updates? Because what's going to happen? You're going to have people like our good friend Ichibaka, who know what they're going to be doing. We know that it's going to be just to outdo Obi-Wan, just to come in, and this is his blog, Disney Star Wars is Dumb. So shout out to Ichibaka here. We know that they're going to do this just to disgrace, tear down our other characters, our male heroes. What? To depress us and break us so we're easier to market to now? So we're easier to control? So we're easier to manipulate? So we're easier to herd into this little flock of good little consumers because we don't have any fight left in us. Because we don't have any heroes. We don't have any heroes to actually look up to anymore. That's what it really feels like if you want to put on the tinfoil hat, or if you want to put on the more reasonable, logical hat. You're just looking at this as this is a crappy little marketing tactic. This is a crappy little marketing technique that they're using just to try and manipulate you out of your dollars. They're going to get people who are going to say, oh, look, I want to support representation and diversity and throw money at this. Or clicks anyway. They're going to throw clicks at it. They're going to throw money at this because we know woke people don't spend money on anything. They tweet about it because they feel guilty, because they feel people are less than them, I suppose. Because they feel superior, I think. So they tweet about this, and they get their little Twitter impressions and their parrot analytics that don't actually translate to views. And you know what happens? Your lifelong fans who grew up wanting and aspiring to be somebody like Obi-Wan. For generations, Obi-Wan was major in the original. And the sequels. Or not the sequels, prequels. Because let's face it, nobody cared about the sequels. In the prequels.
Say something about the motherfucking prequels, bitch.
In the prequels, he was probably the main character in a lot of ways. In a lot of ways, it really felt like he was more important to the story even than Anakin at times. In chat, Captain Shannon Murphy, they're going to give Obi-Wan the Picard treatment. I hope they don't. What does Ichibaka say after this? According to the Illuminati, it would appear that Kathleen Kennedy's bitter agenda is well and alive.
I have a responsibility to the company I work with. I don't feel that I have a responsibility to cater in some way. I would never just seize on saying, well, this is a franchise that's appealed primarily to men for many, many years, and therefore I owe men something.
Currently, there are 4 new roles casting for the upcoming series, with one being listed as co-lead. Yes, one of them is listed as a co-lead. So it's going to be a buddy thing from Obi-Wan and this Riley, aka Eve female. He's a Jedi who just experienced Order 66. He wouldn't trust many people. That's another thing. These are coming in right after the whole Order 66 crap where they wiped out all the... So who's he going to be in? Who's he going to bring in as like a buddy? So what, this is going to be like a buddy show now? Because originally they had it where, oh no, it's too much like The Mandalorian. It's too much like The Mandalorian. So he was probably protecting young Luke, just like Mando is protecting little baby Yoda. So that's probably what's happening. And that's why we had all these script delays. They're keeping the character details under wraps because Riley is probably a Rey clone. Oh, great. Here we go. And Riley's probably a Rey clone. It really wouldn't surprise me. So you need a female person of color. So what? They're going to just race swap Rey. That's what they're going to do. They're just going to race swap Rey now.
Race swap.
So I probably will check out an episode or two of this Obi-Wan series, but they're probably going to cuck him royally, and they're probably going to make it so that he has nothing to do. He's just going to be sitting there holding his balls in his hand and his lightsaber or whatever. And we're not going to actually see Obi-Wan do fuck all for this whole series, because every single woman is probably going to talk down to him, tell him what for, tell him how he's so much better. This is just going to be Rise of Skywalker and Last Jedi all over again. And it's getting old. So, this show, are we excited about the Obi-Wan show? I am maybe excited to rip it a new one, and I will probably treat it as a work of something that they're trying to steal my money for, right? This is the grift right here. This is the grift every time they come in and basically insult you for your cash. That is the grift. Every time they say, here's the thing you really, really love. Now, you're bad for liking that, and here's why you're bad, and we're going to change it now and still demand your money. That seems to be a lot more of a grift to me than anything else. I am MeccaRandom42, and I am going back to my live chat. Don't you go anywhere. Thanks for watching. If you liked it, make sure to hit that like button, and if you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video. Bye!
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.